Hi folks, welcome to this episode of Hit the Mahogany. I've got an interesting eclectic mix here. Yellow Chartreuse, Benedictine, apple brandy, Calvados, and some Angostura bitters. What we're going to do is we're going to bring something back from the dead. Actually, with respect to this one, this is a cocktail that I think deserves to be a little bit more popular out there. On this episode, we are going to be doing the Widow's Kiss. Now, this one was first noted back in the 1890s in the book by George Kappeler. I can never remember how to pronounce his Kappeler. In the book Modern Authentic Drinks. There's actually the original version of it, and then there's also a sort of modern tweaked version of this as well, which adjusts the ratios a little bit. So I'm going to actually make both of them and then see which one I prefer. Of course, as I say, whichever one you like, you give that one a shot itself. Alright, let's get through some of the ingredients here to start with. Calvados, apple brandy. So, you know, there's plenty of brandies out there, the fruit ones, different fruit ones, but of course we've got Calvados here. And for the original recipe, it was 1.5 of Calvados. So we'll do that. 1.5. The adjusted recipe is 2 ounces of Calvados. So I'll give that a shot. It's great smelling. I think sometimes Calvados can get a little bit of a bad knock. There are a lot of rough ones out there, a little bit cheaper. This one here is actually a good one, nice and smooth, and you can actually drink it pretty well, neat over, you know, just a little bit of ice in there. It's actually really, really nice, definitely. Alright, Benedictine. We've been through Benedictine a few times in several cocktails. I'll get the lid off this one. So the original one for this had this at a 3/4 of an ounce, and I've got a problem with my lid not coming off my Benedictine here. It's a bummer. It's the bear with me for 1 second, I'll come back to you, alright? Okay, so I've got a few problems with getting that. I think the coating has come off the top of it, so I'll just have to open this fresh one. Alright, let's get back to it. So original one was heavy on the liqueurs here, so it was 3/4 of an ounce of Benedictine. In the adjusted, more modern one, it's actually 1/4 an ounce, so it's actually cutting it back quite a bit. So I'm just going to do about there. Yeah, not much into that. So the total actual volume of the drink is going to be a lot less itself. Chartreuse, we're using yellow chartreuse here. Difference between the yellow chartreuse and the green chartreuse. Green chartreuse is about 55% ABV. The yellow chartreuse is 40%. So it's sort of lighter, certainly less alcohol in it. It's also slightly sweeter as well. Still got a lot of the pungency of the green chartreuse itself. But certainly there's a little bit more of a, almost like more of a honey sort of scent to that itself, so it's definitely lighter. Okay, so that's the yellow chartreuse that we're using in this. 3/4 in there, and again 1/4 in the adjusted one. Alright, now in both of them, a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters. Let's get some of that bittering going on in there, okay? A couple of nice dashes. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Sometimes some of it goes in the glass. You know, as I was making up this one, or as I was looking into this one itself, what came to mind actually was this is the Widow's Kiss. What actually came to mind, I'm going to go off on a quick tangent here actually, but you'll see where it comes back to. Used to be a band from the UK called Hawkwind. There's one friend of mine particularly who kind of introduced me to them. I don't think I appreciated them as much as then as I do now actually, unfortunately, but really great band. And that was fronted by Bob Calvert. He was the lead singer, poet, wrote a lot of the songs there. And he actually had a couple of albums that he did that weren't under the name Hawkwind. They had a lot of the Hawkwind members in there, and even Lemmy was in bass in a couple of these as well. And one of them was actually Captain Lockheed and the Starfighters. And that album is it's basically a satirical look at the Lockheed Starfighter F-104F. Actually, I think that's the one that had most of the problems. It was originally a fair weather fighter, fast, high altitude, and then it had been heavily modified and sold to the German Luftwaffe back in the 1960s, and it had been used. It had been, a lot of new equipment actually put on it, and the German Luftwaffe actually, I think they lost, how many was it? 290. They lost 292 of 916 aircraft, and it was 116 pilots that they lost. And because of that, the German public named that plane the Widowmaker. So that's where it comes back to. Yes, I know it's just the widow, but I was thinking about that, and it's just if you've never heard of the album at all, give it a listen. It's funny, it's poignant, but you know what? It's fantastic music that's actually on there as well. Catch a Falling Starfighter, Ejection, and the Widowmaker, which is an absolutely fantastic tune itself as well. So, you know what? I was just thinking about that. Maybe one of those pilots' wives was giving their husband a kiss, and they knew it was going to be a widow's kiss. Maybe so. That's where I came back to that one there. Anyway, enough of that. There was a little bit of music there going on. Let's get this one chilled down then, okay? After all that talk, I'm surprised the ice hasn't melted. Got plenty here. There we go. Alright. Give it a quick stir. Again, what you're doing here, you're chilling it as quickly as possible. You're also hitting it with a little bit of dilution, but not too much, you know? Now this is going to be strong. As you saw, there's no juices, fruits or any other light liqueurs in there. It's all booze. So let's get these strained into a couple of nice glasses here. Come on, this is a classic old cocktail. You need something nice glass to put them in there. Strain. This is the original recipe. Perfect. And this is the adjusted one. Just looks nice and classy there, doesn't it? Really does. Garnish. Maraschino cherry. Not one of the bright fluorescent red ones, not in this one anyway. Good old Luxardo maraschino cherry here. In we go. Okay, which one shall I go for first? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I tell you what, I'll go for the adjusted one first of all, because I know that this one's going to be lighter. There's less of the herbal liqueurs in there, so I don't want that one to kill the senses, my flavour senses for this one. Bloody hell. Sorry. That's it. I don't know why these ones fall out of favour, you know. But, you know, we go through cocktails that are clear, cocktails that are brown, different bases. This actually calls it the Calvados. There's a lot of that apple actually coming out there. Absolutely fantastic. The Benedictine then comes in a little bit. You can recognise it. It's good to taste these by themselves as well, because then you'll see where you'll be able to taste them actually in the cocktail itself. And then at the end there's herbalness that's coming actually through. You can see it's quite sweet. There's little what you call legs, and the longer the legs are, or how prominent they are, is how sweet the actual alcohol is, or the drink is itself. You see that in wine and whiskies and everything else as well. A lot of people talk to you about that. Oh, that is really nice, that. Alright, that was the modified one. This is the original ratios. Let me give this one a taste. Oh, I like that. So I like Negronis. I like that kind of herbal. I've got a brutal sweet tooth as well, but for some reason I like going from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, and anything in between. Actually, it's mostly anything that I'll drink anyway, to be honest, except chicha. I haven't tried that one yet, and I need to try that at some point. We'll learn about that one some other time. Anyway, Calvados is there, but definitely, clearly, the Benedictine, Chartreuse, heavier on the herbal notes, but a little bit sweeter as well. Yellow Chartreuse coming through. Benedictine, I think the Yellow Chartreuse comes out a little bit stronger in this one. The Benedictine's in the back end. And you just got a little bit of the bitterness from the Angostura. Alright, how would you know which one to try? If you like brandy and you're not too much into the bitters and the herbals, you're looking for something, I think the modified, the modern version of that will do the trick. If you like something, it's just a fraction sweeter, a little bit heavier on those herbal notes, you still like Calvados, but it's sort of a little bit more in the background, kind of pulling it all together, then the original one will do the trick. Either way, that's an absolutely fantastic cocktail. Where the hell's it been all our lives? Okay, everybody, that's it. Cheers and enjoy your widow's kiss.